Welcome to the first of two Zoom screen share recordings that the TA is providing to LEAs, which will provide additional guidance and instructions for filling out the cost spreadsheet in Microsoft Excel, which you see on your screen, as well as the application related to Winter Storm Uri and Adobe Acrobat. There will be a separate link provided in the TAA that you'll be able to click on to see how to fill that out as well. So first, let's look at the disaster remediation cost spreadsheet. So this is related to Winter Storm Uri, as I mentioned. This disaster occurred from February 10th through the 20th of 2021. The Texas governor initial proclamation was on February 12th of 2021, and the period covered is a 2-year period following the governor's proclamation or executive order declaring a state of disaster. And that goes up to February 12th of 2023. So the first thing you'll want to enter is in row 7. You want to click on your CDN cell and find your CDN. So we'll just stick with the first one that's on the list, which is Holiday ISD. And let's now go over your different heading titles. So in cell A10, you'll see description of costs. You have the ability, if you get down to row 28 and you need to add more description of costs and amounts, then you can click on that and it'll add 5 more rows, and it will also leave all of your formatting and formulas the same so that it adds all up at the bottom. Next, you'll have your total cost of damage. So this is your total cost for each description of cost in each row. Next, you have 3 columns that are related to reimbursements already received by districts or charter schools. The first one being FEMA funds received. The second is in column D, insurance funds received. And in column E is other source funds received. Column F is additional expected amounts yet to be received. And then in column G is a calculated column, amount being claimed as unreimbursed costs, which is a formula taking total cost of damage minus each of the next 4 columns to provide a calculated total unreimbursed costs being claimed. And then in column H, you have your explanation column, which is why costs listed were not covered by FEMA or insurance. So let's just fill out a line here so you can see how it looks and how everything is calculated in each of the additional columns. So pipe freezing was a pretty common cost. So let's say pipe froze, place pipe. Be as descriptive as possible. You'll also need to provide any invoices or expense reports along with this. So let's say that the total cost of damage for a pipe freezing was $1,000. Now, I want to enter my FEMA funds received. So let's just say that they covered 80%, so 800. Insurance covered 100. I didn't receive any other funds, such as philanthropic funds, so I'll put 0 there. And I do not expect to receive any additional amount, so leave that as 0. So you'll notice in column G, in the amount being claimed as unreimbursed cost, it's calculated to 100, which is taking your column B, your total costs, minus column C, D, E, and F. So since we only have 800 and 100, that's 900. So minus 1,000 minus 900 is $100. So why costs were not covered by FEMA? So let's say, as many of us know, FEMA covers a certain percentage, covered 80% regulation, insurance covered whatever their portion is based on your own insurance coverage with your district or charter school. And that's it. So as I said, be as descriptive as possible. It will only help your district or charter school to get those costs approved for reimbursement after all of the other funds were received. So we do that for each row that we need to, fill out. And so the next, I fill all those out, get a little total, and the total will show here. And that may change if you've added rows by clicking that add 5 rows button up there. But right now, since I haven't added any, it's currently in G31. So that's the total costs the school district or open enrollment charter school is seeking for reimbursement under Texas Education Code section 48.2611 related to Winter Storm Uri. So that's also the amount when you get to your Uri application Adobe PDF file and fill that out. There's a cell there that's going to ask you what that total is that's listed here. So you'll want to put that there. Some districts will have an issue with electric bill overcharges. And so we've added this amount where you can also enter whatever that may be, and you're going to need to provide documentation. We'll have questions and answers in the FAQ that's been provided a link to in the TAA. And so we will address those, but I don't know that there will be too many of them, but there will be some. So we provided this line here, this cell as well. And like you'll see in parentheses here, only for districts impacted by variable rate increases as a result of electricity provider action during the winter storm. So if there's an amount there, let's say that let's say that there's 100. It's going to, if you look at this cell G31, it's going to add that amount. And now it's $200. So we've got, for our one description of cost, $100. We added $100 for electric bill overcharge, and documentation is going to be important here as well. And then the total amount of costs that the district or charter school, or in this case, a Holiday ISD, is requesting for reimbursement is $200. So that's pretty basic overview. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. We put a lot of work into this to make it as user-friendly as possible. Again, if you have questions, that there's going to be a lot of questions. We're sending this, obviously, this Winter Storm Uri affected the entire state of Texas. So 1,200 plus school districts and charter schools are going to be potentially sending in these forms. So please, just be as descriptive as possible. Check your FAQs on a fairly regular basis, maybe once a day, at least in the beginning, until we've gotten a lot of those duplicate questions answered, because we could be inundated with calls and emails. So we want to try to provide, a single source where people can go to look up any answers that they might have questions to before they, send out individual emails. But we'll definitely be available for any type of interaction that's necessary to answer any questions. And that's it. Good luck.